Jackie Cation, Laurie Kilmartin.
Yeah, here we are.
It is Sunday night, last minute here.
Last minute coming into the
like
wire.
old times.
Yep. Even though I have done no sets this week, so I'm not going to be much use to you, am I?
Why? Why didn't you do any sets?
Because it was Thanksgiving and I was running around.
Oh, right.
And my sister came and I was excited about that. She didn't come till Thursday, but I flew back on Monday. Like I did the
Milwaukee?
festival. No, I did the festival that I was at last weekend in
Returned. Yes.
Houston, as the New Yorkers would say.
Yes.
Houston, Texas. I was there till Monday, then flew home. Took the 2 days that it takes me now to get my to get myself back.
The travel recovery it's getting worse and worse because traveling is getting worse and worse as well. It's not just us. It's like these seats are uncomfortable. The flights are awful. If you're masked, it's incredibly uncomfortable.
I just oh wait, I should take the blur off. Yeah, I have to say that I think I flew. This is my new support the Delta Airlines. They're trying to unionize.
Oh, cool!
And I got a sticker, a Delta Airlines sticker. And but I flew Southwest. I think I'm flying Southwest again on Wednesday to go to Madison, Wisconsin. And the week after that, I'm flying Delta to go to Toronto. But I have to find my passport. So
oh shit!
I know. I'm pretty sure I know where it is. There's
Canada's not cool with that shit, man.
It turns out it's a sovereign nation. They're gonna want it.
I can't wait to hear if they have the profile of King Charles all over the place, or is it still Queen Elizabeth? I mean, they've had a couple months now.
True. That is true. Did I tell you that when Queen Elizabeth died, my friend Ward told me that Queen Elizabeth, he moved around a lot when he was a kid, right? He's from New Zealand and he lived in Canada and now he lives here. And I believe there were other places when he was a kid. And the only consistent thing was everywhere he went to school, because everywhere was in the Commonwealth, was a picture of that old lady. He said she was more consistent than his own parents.
Wow. I bet that's true for a lot of people.
Yeah.
That's so weird.
He said it was a big deal that she died, though, of course, not a career cut tragically short. So,
she. My favorite part, of course, was the Irish step dancing, which that was apparently recorded closer to when Prince Philip died. But they step danced in front of Buckingham Palace to Another One Bites the Dust. And it got played again when Queen Elizabeth died. It was fucking awesome. I loved it.
That's gonna go viral.
It was it did. It's super viral. And then oh fuck, I forgot where. Yeah, I lost it. Maybe it'll come back. What else were you back? What were you talking about?
No, that I only had really Wednesday to go up. And it was the day before Thursday, and we were going to my sister's wife's
sister-in-law.
Yeah, my sister-in-law's cousin. Yeah, who lives in Silver Lake on a hill, and there's no parking. So, but we parked anyway. So
it's gonna come out on Thanksgiving.
Yeah,
I had sets all this week except for Thanksgiving night. And I did not go to the Laugh Factory. I wasn't sure if they were doing their feeding thing, but I guess they were, according to everything that was posted the next day on Instagram.
Okay.
I love how comics, we will volunteer to help people, but we'll also post about it because we need people to know.
Right. I would like credit.
Yeah.
So.
Let's see. I was a flappers tonight. Did you know? I'll tell you. I'll tell you another time.
Another time.
I was like, this can't
code.
This can't help me to have this on a podcast. What am I doing? I need to. Nobody likes me. I've done so many packets. I'm like, maybe I'm just unlikable and I don't know it, or there's like, oh, her, no, thank you. I don't know. I don't know what the
You're
deal
just like,
is.
yeah, right. You can't. It can't. Well, I think we are all certain that it's not the writing, so it has to be your personality.
It
So it just
honestly, yeah, it
you're
really.
like, I love that that's the first comic's response. It can't possibly be the comedy. It has to be me as a human.
Well, it
Yeah.
could be the writing too, but I don't feel like there's only one show where I was like, oh, I am out of my league. It was a sports show, and I was like, fuck it, I'll try. Like,
Did
fuck
you
it, who cares?
right? Did you have jokes about how it's World Kickball Week? Like there's a
Oh
big
my
kickball
god,
tournament
no,
in the
this
world?
was several months ago, and
Okay.
no, I
Okay.
I did it. In fact, I thought, I don't know who's reading this. I don't know anything about this show. I'm putting a Shirley Babcock joke in, and if they don't get it, then you know what? I wasn't meant to have this. That's for the head writer if they know who Shirley Babcock is. And since it's a sports show, you should.
I don't know who any of those people are. I will say
Okay,
that
it's
yep.
well, she was robbed of several gold medals in the 1972 Olympics because
Swimming?
yes, she's a swimmer,
Okay.
and because the East German team was completely drugged,
Okay.
and so they swam greatly enhanced. And,
Right.
by the
And
way,
right, it
against
wasn't Molly. They weren't doing like mushrooms. You're
no,
talking
no
about something
steroids,
else, right? Okay.
but no steroids. But also, they didn't know it. Like these girls were being told you're getting vitamins, and
Ah.
they were giving these steroids that actually damaged their health long term. And I think Cornelia Ender and Roland Mathis, I think it was his last name. They're both East German swimmers, and they ended up getting married. And I believe their children were like deformed from the
Oh.
drugs that the East German officials gave them. It was really awful. So like, there's no winners there, but Shirley Babcock, that fuck, she would have been another Michael Phelps or Mark Spitz at the time. Sorry, there was the
Right, right.
76 games, not 72.
Okay.
Not that, I mean, 5 people care. But anyway, here's my point.
But you're getting the points right. That's what we want. If you're gonna get excited about it,
Right. But
get the
I
dates
did a
right.
Shirley Babcock joke, and I put that in my packet because they're talking about trying to give her the gold medals that she should have got.
Oh, really?
And I don't know. It was a stretch of a joke anyway about her
Yeah.
having had 40 years of silver medal cock, and finally she'll get what she deserves. But Jackie, they didn't hire me, but I wasn't like devastated. I was like, you know what? You made the right call. But all these other
You want to come up?
shows, it's been political comedy and, stuff that's right up my alley. And I haven't gotten anything. And it's like, part of me is like, am I done? Is this over? I don't get it. Like, fuck.
I can't express to you just the look.
How much you
Oh, there
don't
we go.
care. Yeah.
I'd love to say that I cared more, but I got two dogs just staring at me like they're trapped inside this room. So I guess I'm gonna open this door, and
Okay.
it's 50 degrees out. I wouldn't encourage it. Ask Kyle something.
My dog is she's right across the bed, just completely asleep there.
Like an angel.
Yeah. Well, she's was no angel about a half hour ago. She got the crazies and started running around and chewing stuff. Always. She had my bra in her hand, in her mouth. And it's the bra that Jackie and I share, that we wear the same exact bra. Now, it used to be like $19.99 on Amazon, and the price has been jacked up, not jacked up. And it's like in the 60s now. It's ridiculous, but it must be some
bra inflation.
Bra inflation out of China, right?
That's all that's happening right there.
The bra shipping containers.
Try to do a podcast while you're being just like mad dog glared at with the dead eyes and two blueberry fucking muffins right there. Look at those two dogs.
My buddies.
Anyway, those are your pals.
Yeah.
So just anyway. I came up with 3 new premises in the last week, and that is thank you, but I haven't been able to go on stage and talk about them at all. And
sometimes that'll do it. Sometimes you not being on stage, you're that part of your brain goes someplace else and comes up with new shit to talk about for the next time you're on stage.
Yeah, and nobody. I mean, I had the tiniest argument with my mother-in-law tonight that it was actually it was she might be a silent treatment person, which I think
Oh
will not be good. But I have to say that
no!
I
Oh
I
my
over
god!
but I overreacted to something she said. It's on me,
Right,
right? And
right.
but here's the craziness is that it's because I haven't been on stage. I need
Yes,
there's a
right.
couple of things I need to bleed off every
Yeah,
sort of snarky,
yeah,
terrible. It makes me a better person to do stand-up comedy.
yeah.
Let's just
Mhm.
say it out loud
Yeah.
and know it in your heart. So imagine the monster that I would be if I didn't do stand-up
I've met that monster, and I will definitely try to get you on stage.
So
I'll
did Christine Foley. Poor lady.
I had let's see, when I was at Flappers, there was some guy sitting up front. This is like the early show Friday, I think.
Oh
And
wow.
just a chat, just a constant chatter and trying to tag jokes and stuff like that.
Mm-hmm.
And I couldn't tell if everyone could hear him. Like I would sort of engage and then whatever. And then I just blew my top and I called back some porn thing and I said, well, I was talking about washing my legs in the shower. And he goes, I want to wash your legs. And
Ah,
and then I said something like,
boo.
if we were, because I talked about porn earlier. Yeah, I'm trying to talk about other shit, guys. If we were in a porn together, I'd bring in another guy so he could shove his cock in your mouth and you'd shut up. And then I said, hey, good night, folks, Merry Christmas. And I was like, this is like the old days. You know what? This is like being on the road. All right. I don't work the fancy theater gigs. I'm a road comic.
Right. There's no one policing the room. There's only,
Yeah.
hey, turn on that light on your table, just in case you want another adult beverage,
Right.
and or some tater tots. But I
But
have
it's
to
nice to
say,
know you still got it when
you
you need
still
it.
got it. Right. You
still
still
got
have
it.
a mean stick a dick in your mouth comment
Yes.
because people
Those
are
are
sometimes dumb.
and other people need to hear it. Like women need to hear a woman tell a guy, I want to shove a cock in your mouth. It makes them
If
feel
it will
good.
if it is my go-to when I would like someone to shut up. Stick a dick in there. So you'll make someone happy, and maybe you'll make yourself happy. Who knows? But
I wasn't trying to make him happy. I wanted to
not
gag
at all.
him
Not at all.
and
You just wanted
humiliate him. And if I could say, Jackie, if I could compliment myself, it was a callback to something earlier. So it wasn't just a random, I'm going to shove
Right.
a cock in your mouth. I did call something back at the same time. Thank you.
Did I ever tell you that I was asked? There was a short-lived show. Al Madrigal was on it about the Comedy Store in the early '70s. That was on,
Oh, really?
I think, HBO Go. Like I think it was an early.
Yeah,
Yeah, it was
I
probably
remember
4 years ago or so.
With
But one of the
Showtime.
oh, Showtime. Yeah. So
Oh,
one
yeah.
of the writers called me and said, "Hey, I need sort of a heckler line. We can hear you swallow, by the way. So the so
Sorry.
that's
Sorry,
okay.
I'm just having some hot chocolate, guys. I'm a little
That's it.
cold.
It's chilly. It's a chilly night here in Los Angeles, and
I'll
it's
try
the
to mute it
holiday
next
season.
time.
That's great.
Okay.
And so, but a writer I know called me and was like, "Hey, I need a heckler line that a woman would say to a guy to really shut him up. Do you have any of those?" I think I've told you this story before because I said to her, "Yeah, I'm still using it. I'm still. You can't have it for your weird TV show that you're making $2,500 a week
And
for.
you won't get credit for, or
At all.
a writer's even a paycheck or
No.
health insurance, even
Not
for a
even
week.
not even a shout out. Not even a point, which is what Larry
Right.
Miller one time when I tagged one of his bits
Yeah.
for him in like '93.
Oh, neat.
Yeah, he did it, and he got an applause break for it, and he
Oh.
pointed at me in the audience,
Oh, neat.
and that was my payment, and
That's
was great.
cool. That's
It was
something.
all right. It was totally something, and yeah. But
Yeah.
oh wait, so that clip that you posted from the '90s, your closer.
You know what? Why wouldn't I bring it back?
Oh
Talk
my
me
God.
out of it.
That closer is an amazing. It is. You know how? Just in case people don't remember, sometimes if you have an amazing dick joke, you have to close on it because you
Oh
won't be
yeah,
able to
you can't
follow it.
follow it. Right,
You can't.
right, right.
You yourself cannot follow your own
Yeah, correct.
amazingly written dick joke. So this dick joke that you got to go to Laurie Kilmartin. Is it any Laurie 16? The IG, the Instagram.
Yes, yeah, yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
is. Yeah. So if they, you gotta watch it. Uh, the motor. Can I just say? I mean,
Yeah,
it's on the internet. Okay. The motorboating of the balls
yeah.
was. You took back the night there. It was like a
Thank you,
rape awareness night. It was so beautiful.
thank you,
It was a
thank you,
march.
Jackie.
There were
Thank you very
placards.
much.
I was like, the first dick joke I wrote, which is probably an 85, was that I wanted men. I was like, I like my. It was dumb. I mean, we're talking first
Hmm.
8 months of doing stand up, so it wasn't
Right.
particularly well crafted, but it was there. There's something there. That's all I can say for this joke. But it was my closer for the first 3 to 5 years of my set, and it was I like Ben barefoot and erect with knee pads and a frisbee on his head,
What?
so I could put my beer in his head.
Oh my God, you reversed everything.
I
Every
reversed
possible trope. Yes.
every trope had been taken, dissected, re-put together as and then if a guy would be like, and guys would be in the audience be like, "What? You know?" And I was like, "I gave you a frisbee. I gave you a frisbee. You're putting beers on women's heads. I gave you
Yeah, and good luck to the male headliner who has to follow you after you've undercut his joke. Ha ha.
I was only, yeah, I'm just trying to take away sexist premises, but didn't
Oh,
even know it. Didn't even know it.
no, existed to nullify what was going to come after us, but then they were too dumb to even realize it, and the audience didn't give a shit.
Right. They just did the hack premises anyway.
Yeah, and the audience
So
resets immediately.
yeah.
She's gone. All right, now him. No, this was so I did that like the second half of the 90s,
Right.
and it built and built. Took a while,
I
but then
bet.
that was when I did that at Charlie Goodnights, and I was opening for Tim Wilson, and it was like the audience went insane, and I hyperventilated so much during the coming part that I almost fainted because I got
Because the
the
act
audience
out
was
was
going
so
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, and Tim Wilson, the great Tim Wilson, may he rest in peace, is like, I can't follow you. I mean, it did immediately, but it was like so nice that
He
he
had
could
to
say
anyway,
that.
but it's a very nice thing to say.
Yeah,
It's
but it was back then. To anyone young listening, they didn't have the cocktail, the HIV, the cocktail that if you are HIV positive, there's a series of drugs you can take, you'll be fine for the rest of your life. You are not doomed to die of AIDS, right? So back then, you still had to use a condom to avoid HIV. That was it. And so it was for me. I felt like there's a lot of women in the audience on dates with guys that are like, and they're straight and they're homophobic and they're like, oh, I'm not gonna use that, right? So I just wanted to do something. It was a desire to do a joke that would make it easier for a woman to have that conversation after the show.
yep.
And then,
Yep.
of course, I treated the penis like a little boy that I was tucking into bed that night, and men liked it because. Plus, I was so mean and feminist the entire set, and then I do this thing about their little penises, and they loved it, and it was like erased all the negativity of
Right.
my earlier jokes.
Right.
Yeah, but I never did it on an album or a special or anything.
No, there's so many bits that were never on
Yeah,
anything that you're just
right.
sort of, and that's crazy. That was never on an album or a special
Yeah,
because of how powerful that bit is. Even though
yeah.
it's filthy, I still get comments about. I was
Well,
once,
it's clean. It's clean. It's
yeah,
technically clean.
right. I was once essentially sexually assaulted during a massage on Venice Beach that I turned
Wow.
into comedy gold. It was a closer
Yes.
for half a decade, you guys. And it was just essentially I was getting a massage when I first moved here. Someone told me you could get a really cheap massage done on Venice Beach. So I go to the beach, I go to the dude's working on me. He literally happy ending. He sticks his
Whoa.
fingers up my vagina. Yeah. And I'm like, hey man, that's my vagina. And the punchlines were like, that's where my vagina, that's where I keep my vagina.
Yeah, right.
You know, you're gonna have to, you know. And then the real story, of course, is that I tipped that guy. Which is funnier now.
Him to not like you, or think you're
Right.
mean.
Yeah, I didn't want him to think I was a bitch. So
Oh my God.
and but I did a joke where because people would come up to me and say, I want to have a t-shirt, why don't you have a t-shirt that's where I keep my vagina? Because that was the punchline, right? That's where I keep my
Yeah.
vagina. And I was like, and so on my half-hour special on Comedy Central in 2003, that was my closer because it had been my closer since for 4 years, 3 or 4 years. And so, and the joke was I couldn't have that t-shirt because I don't want to be the vagina t-shirt lady. I was like, because I could count all of my money in hell, and that wouldn't even be the t-shirt. The t-shirt would have to say, "That's where I keep my vagina," with an arrow pointing left, and whatever.
Mhm.
It was like there was a complicated arrow joke with the old "I'm with stupid." I mean, it was like some sort of weird, but it worked.
Yeah.
And the greatest closer, and I think you're motorboating those balls. I think that rivals the Doug Stanhope porn joke.
Wow.
Remember that one?
With the bear. Yeah, I do.
With the beer
Yeah,
bottle
yeah.
where he ends up spraying beer all over his face.
Yeah.
That had to be 96, 95.
Holy shit.
And
Yeah. I bet we were on a show together, both ending our shows like that. Because I
And
know we worked together a couple times in the late 90s.
somebody told me, and it was never Doug, because it's never gonna be Doug bragging about like getting moved up from feature to headliner, Doug Stanhope. But I guess he did
Right.
a run. He did his like a 15-week, and at the end of every single week, they were like, "Well, clearly we're bringing you back in like 3 months, and you're gonna headline."
Wow.
Hell yeah.
And it was, I mean,
Wow.
because nobody could follow it.
Yeah.
Everyone just wanted to see more of whatever that mess was.
Yeah.
Because he's got premises, he's got punchlines, but
He's great. He's a storyteller too.
and in the 90s, there was just this loosey goosey vibe
Yeah.
to the dude that was like, I had the biggest crush on Doug Stanhope for the
Of
Dawn of
course.
Man. Of
Me
course.
too. I think every female comic had a bit of a crush on Stanhope.
And
Plus, he's
80% of the dudes. Yeah.
he was like living in a car, like he truly lived the life that a lot of comics pretend to live on stage, and it's like,
Right.
no, he's
That was
actually living in a car during a comedy competition that he won.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, it was both attractive and enormously repellent. I was like,
which is also attractive.
which you know better, and yet you're still kind of half there. So it's dumb.
Yeah.
I
I set up my Centaur t-shirts on TeePublic.
Oh, good.
Help yourselves, guys. I'm also gonna print some through Caitlin and
bring
them
them
to
out.
Cobb's. Yeah.
Okay.
And see how they sell. I don't know if people like them or not. If they do,
What's the TeePublic link? Put that in the notes, Kyle.
Yeah. Yes, please.
It's pinned on my Twitter right now.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay, cool. I'm on it.
Yeah.
Thanks.
And
because that art is great. It's this pencil drawing
Jeff
of you
Tice
on
did
top
it, yeah.
of. Oh, did he?
Yeah,
Oh,
me
that's
riding
so great.
a centaur. Yeah, a male centaur, obviously. Yes.
Not the female.
My boyfriend.
Centaur.
Yeah.
Sure.
And
soulmate.
then yes. So we'll see if I go from books to t-shirts. I bought a bunch of books too. I just did a lot of last minute merch spending this month,
Right.
and it's like, oh my god, this credit card bill is gonna be awful.
I have Jackie and Laurie stickers that I ordered again.
Oh, okay.
That I didn't get paid from any of the monies, but I've just been giving them out anyway because it's a good ad.
Yeah.
And
I give our stickers away for free.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
So though the Patreon, do you think those stickers are going to work this? Because I think this might be the third month.
They're supposed to be coming out now, you know.
Jackie at JackieCation.com, you guys. Somebody, if you should get 3 stickers in the damn mail. Email me,
Are they
tell me you
getting
got
3
them.
at once or 1 a
I
month?
think they're supposed to get 1 a month, but it only happens every 3 months.
They're so annoying. Okay.
It's so annoying. So
Yeah.
whatever happens, you guys, just tell me, and
Yeah,
then
let
I
us
will
know.
try to fix it. So I did a lot of podcasts this week, and I did
Oh,
2 Dork
God.
Forests with the 2 Dork Forests with Canadian comics who are going to be on that's being released. It's called Comedy Invasion, and there
Mhm.
was the first guy. They were both really kind of young new comics, and it was a PR agent who asked if they could be on the show,
Oh.
and
Hmm.
they weren't straight white guys, and I've had a
Mhm.
plethora of straight white guys on the Dork Forest recently, and I'm like,
Mhm.
I would just like some different voices, I just want to hear something
Mhm.
else. So, but neither one of them, I don't think had ever done a podcast before,
What?
and
How's that possible?
I don't know how you get to be I mean,
A comic.
right there, but they were pretty young comics, but they both have
Right.
half-hour specials on this thing called Comedy Invasion, but it's
Oh,
Canadian.
okay. Right.
And the first one was a guy, Keith Mahaney, I think was his name, and
Okay.
he's First Nation, Native, whatever the Canadian
Oh,
version of
wow.
Native American,
Yeah.
and he talked about Metallica, and when we ran out of Metallica, he had 5 TV shows that he liked, all of them weirdly like don't. I mean, I don't know how they hold up, but it was Three's Company, Rockford Files.
What?
Uh,
Yeah. Sure.
But Rockford Files, who I love, James Garner, I've tried to watch Rockford Files recently. It is a lot of ass slapping
Oh,
for
interesting.
it's a road to hoe, man. To
Yeah.
try to watch that, and Married with Children, Roseanne, and then like I think it was the Wonder
Roseanne was great.
Years. Yeah, Roseanne was amazing. But Married with Children was just ball busting, and it was kind of an interesting. And so they both went a little short. They went short of an hour. The other one was a young man named DJ On, a young Asian guy, gay, and
Mhm.
Canadian, both from Vancouver. They both seemed like their stand up was probably pretty solid. I didn't watch
Mhm.
any of it, but I was like, sure. And what's your dorkdom? And he, right after lockdown, had gone to pastry school so that he could learn how to make pastry because he loved the idea of making pastry. And I was like, okay, so what kind of pastry? And
Wow.
every kind of pastry he brought up, he was like, I don't really do it anymore though. And so it was 40 minutes of that. I was like, hey, your dorkdom is the thing you don't like to do anymore, man. How about do you like to
Interesting.
eat pastry? And he told me that his favorite thing to eat is some sort of Canadian frozen cake.
Did maybe their publicist didn't accurately convey what the show was?
Very possible. Maybe that was it. Because I mean, the thing is that I'm willing to try again, and they were incredibly nice guys. Like
Mhm.
it was a fun, but it was there. If you listen to the next 2 weeks of the Dork Forest, there's going to be some teeth pulling. As I'm like, no, let's talk about what is it? How much
Sure.
do you love it? And then I went on the Howard
Mhm.
Kramer podcast, who
Oh.
charted, and that is entirely about music. And whenever music is introduced into the plot, I don't know what I'm
You
talking
tune out. Right. Exactly.
Yes, but
Um.
I did buy an album during the podcast.
Okay. That's good.
I
That's
bought
it. I
Taylor
encourage
Swift's
everybody.
new, yeah,
Oh, yeah. Sure.
she has a new
I
album out.
downloaded it. I haven't listened to it yet. She does. For research, I was starting to listen to it.
Oh, good.
I don't know that I'm an addict, but I'm listening to when I drive. I listen to 88.5, which is like a college station, and also my son is just getting into Metallica. I played him Enter Sandman, and he's like, "What?" So now he loves that song
Well,
because he's mostly into anime soundtracks and stuff.
yeah.
So almost all the music we listen to has Japanese lyrics that we don't understand. So
I I also bought the soundtrack to Wakanda Forever, which there's at least 3 great songs on that so far, and that's all I want out of an album. If there's more than that, that's gravy, right?
Yeah.
For the whole
I
album.
would. I did. Let's see. I did 2 fun sets at little funky rooms.
Oh,
That not like clubs. I did Motherland at Christina Filipina, I think.
oh, right, the
in Eagle Rock.
Filipino restaurant. Yeah.
Yeah, it's a really fun gig, and it's one of those gigs where the audience is into weird shit, and so you start tagging stuff, and then the next night you're up at Flappers, and you're like, oh wait, those okay, those tags were for that
Very
Filipina
specific.
kitchen only.
Right.
And then last night I was at the Fourth Wall
Okay.
on Hollywood Boulevard, and as soon as I walked in, I'm like, oh, I'm wearing my air purifier on stage. There's like,
oh, it's so packed in there.
well, it's also the air is very still. Like there's no
There's
doors,
no ventilation.
no,
There's
no, not at all, and there's
Yeah.
no fan. And I was like, yeah, I gotta. So I even like twisted the thing
Like,
around my neck
guys.
so it would shoot right up my nose. And but it was fun. It was a fun set, you know. And you know, someone took a picture of me, posted it on Instagram of me wearing my air purifier again. I don't wear it at every show. I evaluate each room and how long I'm doing, and
You're an
is there
adult.
any ventilation here?
Yep.
And if there doesn't feel like there is or enough, or I'm in a corner and there's 200 people in front of me, then yeah, I'm gonna put it around my neck and, you know,
And,
blow
yeah.
air out my nose.
That's it. And fuck the
But
haters.
yeah,
Fuck
the
the
shows
haters.
were fun.
Yeah.
Fuck
Oh,
the
good.
haters. Okay, so it's been 30 minutes, right?
Yep. So you want to do a break?
Yeah.
And let's also comic of the week. Just worked with her in Houston at the Secret Club, the Houston Secret business. Comedy festival, and her name is DDT, and she did I saw her do 2 sets, and she's just super fun to watch. It's DE_DE_T as in Tom, and she super fun to watch. Just like sort of the comedy is it's it's in your face, and it's a little dirty, but it's really fun. It's not anything
Is
but
she
super
Texan?
fun to watch. I believe she is from Houston.
Cool.
Yeah, and she's in I think so she's been doing all the Houston like Houston to Austin.
Houston's always had a good scene, man. You know,
Yes.
there was like a
Kennison.
like Austin was like always kind of wild, you know, and San Francisco-y, and Houston was a lot more chill, but intense, you know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I have to say, whenever San Francisco and Austin come up together, I am always reminded that when I go to a place like Austin, one of the first times I went to Austin, I was talking to one of the younger one of the comics who lived there, and I was like, "How's the comedy scene here?" And they said, well, "It's sort of like, Austin itself is kind of like a small San Francisco." I just wanted to go, is it? I haven't been to San Francisco enough, but I don't. I think it's just its own thing. It's
Yeah,
always
I don't
like,
think it is.
yeah, whenever anybody says something, I think one of the other comics I was talking to was talking about somebody asked him what kind of comedy. You know how people ask, what kind of comedy do you? Who could I compare you to? What do you hope to become like? And I don't enjoy those questions just because I want to be unique. I wish to be a unicorn, and I wish to be just me. And then I don't want anyone to go, well, you said that you were going to be George Carlin, or you said you were going to be Roseanne Barr, or which neither of those. I don't want to be either. I don't know who I'd want to be.
Well, it's also like when people tell you who they think you look like, and you're like, what?
Yeah.
I saw your twin. Oh, let me see her. What? What the fuck?
Someone said, did they say I looked like or I sounded like Melissa Etheridge? And I was like, I've heard of her.
Neither.
I don't know
No.
who that is.
You don't look
but
like her.
at all. I think she's willowy, right? Isn't
N-
she a tall, willowy person?
No. She was like a she was like one of the early out female rockers. Like she's a great musician, guitarist, songwriter.
Oh, great.
She's got like a Bruce Springsteen sort of vibe on stage. Or she, when she was at her height touring.
Yep.
And she had a baby. She used David Crosby's sperm for her baby.
Right.
You know her.
Right. Is she
There's
a gay lady?
Oh, she's gay. Oh, hella gay. She was like one of the first out ones. And then
when?
Like maybe before Katie Lang, even. Like Katie Lang, I thought always alluded to it, but never said anything.
Katie Lang had a fake husband for a while.
Oh, wow.
Okay.
So I think Melissa Etheridge was always open about it, and she had like a huge gay following at first, and then
Come to my window, man.
Yes,
Classic. She's the best.
Yeah.
All right.
I think there was some sort of health. Oh shit! Did one of her kids pass away? Something tragic
Horrible.
like that happened,
Yeah.
and so she may have stepped back or something. Fuck, I forget. It's something where you're like, oh dang, that I don't know how. Yeah. Anyway, but you do not look like her or sound like her.
Right.
Long story.
Long story short, another like I think I there must have been a good angle because somebody said once that I had the same nose and lips, super specific, people, unnecessary to be staring quite so distinctly at my facial features to go, you look a little bit like Jodie Foster. And I was like,
I can see that.
It was a little bit in the mouth, the nose and lips. And I was like, that's fine. Yes. There's absolutely not a straight lady I think I've ever been compared to. It's I get a little bit of Rosie O'Donnell. I get sometimes I get a Roseanne. Andy did say the other day when I woke up and my hair was everywhere that the world needed another Phyllis Diller. And I was like, wow, you're adorable. Anyway, so
yeah. I went on I started putting clips up. I was like, all right, I guess my job, since I don't have a writing job, my job is Laurie Kilmartin to be. So I started putting stuff up. Every time I put something up on Instagram, I hear from the millennial comics in our chat that I'm doing it wrong. And of course,
that there's some sort of
I'm like fucking afraid to post anything.
Because you're not doing it right?
I think I'm doing it fine.
Yeah, so do I.
Caption it and kapwing, okay, which I hate. And it takes forever, especially if you're editing the video a little bit, cutting some stuff out. What a pain in the ass. And then you have to save it in 10 different sizes and post it on, 5 different apps
formats,
and everything.
Yeah.
But then one of the millennials was like, no, you need a title card. And
title card? No, you
well,
you're doing great.
Maybe
you're doing great. Just do as much as you can, because I was thinking the other day that if I could hire someone to post stuff, like if it were a full-time job, right?
Jesus,
if I paid somebody to spend 8 hours a day thinking about things, posting my stuff, if I could split a person with 2 other comics, we each pay them $20,000 a year, 60 grand, 40-hour week. They would spend just posting 3 comics worth of stuff all day long, right? So I'm thinking about
bad.
Right,
60. It's not a great living, but it's okay.
It's a living, and it's a better living than I did as a feature. Anyway, but the thing is I was like, I'm like, it's not a bad idea. I wonder if I could do it. And then I thought, you know what? It would be at 8 hours a day that they did it. I would spend the other 16 hours obsessing about my social media. It still wouldn't help. I would still spend 3 or 4 hours a day, because I spend, every day. I'm like,
I also
monkey hands all over the goddamn
I don't
phone.
want it to feel like how it feels now is like, oh, this thing I've got to deal with, and I want to feel like I can just crank out my own stuff, put
Yeah.
it up, and then so it doesn't. I don't want to be one of those person that has to rely on, you know, a different generation to do things. Like,
Oh right.
you know,
Oh
like
right.
I'd
You
like
want
to
to be
figure it
able
out,
to
right?
do things. Yeah.
And then people have offered to do it for free for a little bit, and I don't feel comfortable uh with
Yeah.
that. You know, like and so and
What are you gonna
you
get, an
know,
intern? Yeah.
yeah,
Screw
someone
that.
actually offered to intern, and I was like,
I'm
I don't
not
feel
comfortable.
comfortable, yeah,
I'm not
doing that.
comfortable with you not making any money. And
Right,
but
and
I
I'm
will
also not comfortable with giving you money.
right, which is where yes, which is where it's a
Again,
real thing.
again, should I get a writing job, then that would change, and I wouldn't have time, and I would definitely hire someone to take care of all that stuff, and that would be really
Yeah.
cool. But right now, that's not my situation. I'm tired too.
Yeah, I had to quickly yawn. I got so someone who used to be in all the big clubs, right? All the big chains, was complaining to me the other day about
I can throw the name in the chat.
I'm gonna throw the name in the chat
Oh,
about how he's just playing sea rooms now.
he has a right to complain. You know,
Everyone
he's
does.
a
He's
funny
put in
comic. Yes, he's done it. He's a very funny comic, and he's always working on shit and writing. He's like one of the greats, and he's a great persona. So yeah, I accept all of his complaints. They're valid to me. Continue.
right, but I was surprised because it's just like it's this thing that you and I aspire to get these big chains to book us. But just think about
Yeah.
how disappointing it would be if they booked us for 10, 12 years and then they were like, no,
Oh, right.
and then they dropped us, and how mad we would be. I would be totally mad too. I'd be,
I mean, yeah,
it's because the guy who I type writes new material all the time.
yeah,
He's
yeah,
constantly
and he
writing.
kills.
He's
He
not a
kills.
dinosaur. He's a dude that's
He's
working.
older, and
Oh,
but he's just not on TV all the time.
right. He's he's the comedy he's doing is not always for me. Just
Right,
because he's just because of the type of comedy he
Different
does.
point of view.
But
Yeah.
right. But I respect the work he puts into it.
Same. Yeah.
So it was this from Kyle.
I didn't say any words.
Not a
My
word.
head just
Not a
moved
word.
in different directions that maybe expressed opinions contrary to certain things said.
That's right. That is right. So I don't know. Let's take another break.
Yeah.
Okay. Hold on. Let me yell at my kid. Hey, hey, Han. Yes. It's time for you to go to bed. Get out of here.
Go pretend to sleep. That'd be great. You want to cut this out?
Yeah, it's great. We'll come right back in.
Okay.
Yeah.
Andy did a Kickstarter, and
Love you too.
I don't know if he got 2 of these. I don't know if he bought 2 or if he just, it's a game, and it's a game like Warhammer, and it's called The War on Christmas.
Cool.
And this is a gingerbread army of zombies. And I've never wanted to do miniature painting more in my life because these are adorable, but they're all just gray detailed plastic that would take the tiny, and then there's like a Santa. There's Santas with axes. It's pretty great. Anyway.
Sarah Schaefer does miniatures, and we're back on, right?
Mhm.
Okay. And so she's selling her Christmas ornaments. I got one last year called with a little ornament. This is Tax the Rich, and I just have to get a tree pretty soon.
Oh yeah, we got to get a tree up. I bought a couple of wreaths. I had to take down a Paul Kozlowski painting because I ended up buying 2 wreaths because it's fake tree year.
Right.
Usually it's one year we do a real tree and then we do a fake tree, and then I unplugged my computer accidentally, so I have to plug that in. it's all about comedy, you guys. Hey, if you live anywhere near Madison, Wisconsin, I would love to sell out at least one show. How about that?
That would be nice. Yeah.
I have 5 shows. Please
Hey,
come to
yeah.
Madison, Wisconsin Comedy on
I
Stage.
have a very similar weekend. I'm at Dr. Grin's this
Oh,
weekend
right.
in Grand Rapids, and
Yeah,
it's
yeah.
a Thursday to Friday to Saturday. Come out to the
Mhm.
shows if you're nearby. I have tons of material that's not uncorsted, and I do some stuff that's from my album, but none of you bought it, so you don't even fucking know it anyway.
Come on out. They're not playing my shit anywhere, so you don't even
I
you don't even know. So
I got nothing from Sound Exchange. They did not play a single track from any album this last month.
so you got it.
Nothing.
You didn't get a check.
Nope. And I tried to download what they played.
Oh,
Oh, really?
I
Really,
was at a
Kyle?
party with a friend who is of a similar situation as the two of you, who informed me that they have not paid anybody. Everybody got a big mysterious zero on this, and there's some talk.
I got slightly more than I did
Oh.
remember last month I got $112. That's right.
Yeah.
$112. This month, a little bit more than that. And you
I
know
got
what?
115 last month.
Here's where I'm at, because I have self-esteem issues. I was grateful.
Oh my God. It's so wrong. I
It's
don't
not
know.
okay.
So are they
Yeah.
just not playing a bunch of comics, or did they Sound Exchange?
Yeah, they're not.
Did they fuck up?
No, they're
No.
not. Yeah, they're not playing right now. I believe they're playing Helium. Sirius XM is playing Helium's label and Comedy Central's label,
Wow.
and I think, and then they're doing a couple of the sort of really small indie, and maybe some Blonde Medicine. I think a little bit of some Blonde.
Wow.
But it's real tight out there. So everybody, it's
God, shitty, man.
JackieCation.com. Christmas is coming, you guys. Hanukkah's coming. Feel free to buy a boat ton of merch, because all the donations that come to the Dork Forest this month go to the food bank. I get karma for that. That's right. Because I tell you not to donate to me. I tell you to donate to your local food bank, which, by the way, is easy to do. If you live in the United States, type in the words feedingamerica.org. On feedingamerica.org, there's a little box that has a zip code that you would put in your zip code. If that's too hard, literally Google the words, the name of your town, and the word food bank. Boing! You will find a place that wants $100. Just give them $100. Give them $10. Give them whatever you can afford. And because, it's a good time to throw some cash at some people who need some food.
Yeah, terrible. It's terrible times. It's terrible times for comics. It's
Yeah,
it's a bad
everybody.
time. It feels like the economy is like, I don't know, maybe I'm on Reddit too much. I shouldn't be on Reddit this much, but it doesn't feel good. I feel like something's
You're on
about
Reddit? I
to
don't even know how
drop.
Reddit works. That makes me
it's
sound old.
all
But
dependent on the subreddit, like what the topic is and stuff. But
are you following some sort of link to a rabbit hole, or do you have a Reddit account?
Well, yeah, you sign in with you have to have a username, but no one knows who you are.
Okay.
And there's several rabbit holes, and I'm like, if this is happening, there's nothing I can do about it. And
Yep.
I don't know. I
certainly don't know.
I want to take care of my son. Like, at the end of the day, I want to take care of my son, and I like hanging out with him. So
that's it.
That's all I have. And I like
sister?
performing.
Yeah.
I call my sister, but I'm just saying, like, if you took everything away, like, I keep going, what could I lose? What could I lose? And it'd still be okay. And I pretty much everything but my son.
Yeah. It's
anyway, I go to dark places at night. And so this podcast we're doing now, this is when I'd normally be in a dark place, and it's being interrupted, and I don't care for it.
Bleed it off, sister. Bleed it off. Because you gotta do. That's why me not doing any sets. I seriously, I'm gonna miss being home, but I can't wait to go because I'm gonna get to
Yeah,
do stand up.
right.
And
And we're
there's
both
like
flying out on Wednesday, a day early
right,
too.
right.
Yeah,
I'm gonna fly into Milwaukee and see my dad. So
smart.
yep,
I'm just flying in early because I don't trust holiday
East Coast.
planes.
I did the same thing for Dr. Grants.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, because you're going to stop someplace. Nothing flies a Grand Rapids direct, and there's going to be a problem, and I'm going to miss a show. It's Christmas time, so they're putting me up in the hotel the night early, and I'll be fucking refreshed and happy on Thursday. It'll be really fun. I'm excited. I'm really excited.
I'm trying to remember that. You might want to pack some like snacks. I can't remember the food situation. Like if there were restaurants and stuff
Right,
around there. So
right.
make a note. I too am flying out of Burbank. Are you flying out of Burbank?
Yeah, what time are you flying out? I have
I'm
a 7
flying.
a.m. flight.
Oh, mine's 10.
Are you flying
So
Southwest?
yeah, yep.
Same.
Mm-hmm. Because there's nothing direct to Milwaukee. So I might as well.
Yeah.
And it's about $300 less than Delta right now. So yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm hoping that the prices go down next year.
They won't.
Wait a
Hogs
minute.
need to start paying more for airfare.
Right.
500
That'd
is
be
not
great.
cutting it. It's a miracle if you get under 500.
Oh yeah.
You know,
I've started
they're
asking
close.
for 750 and some of the people have paid it. Some of them haven't, but some of them have.
Yeah.
And because I mean everyone gets it,
Yeah.
you know, because 750 is almost just shy of what it is.
I know.
or
I know.
just there kind of thing.
Yeah.
So
It makes you go, I should just move to Chicago and be based out of Chicago for a while so I can just drive to gigs. If that's what's happening with my life.
I don't know if
I'm
you know
just
about the
becoming
Windy City, but it's about to get real cold. So I don't recommend it.
I've heard.
You've heard about weather. And
Yeah, my mom's from Chicago. I've been to Chicago many, many times, seen family. My Aunt Patty, the
that's right.
infamous Aunt Patty, who spoke for several hours to my mom over the iPad while my mom was in hospice.
Yeah.
Nonstop. Incredible. Incredible. A goat,
Awesome.
a legend. Yeah. And my
That's
cousins,
awesome.
Sarah and everybody. Yeah. So got a lot of family there.
What are so I'm also trying to figure out I keep forgetting to book Chicago because I'm willing to do it again. But I'm
had a really good time at the Den. I want to work Zanies again though. The last time I was at Zanies was New Year's Eve from 2019 to 2020, like right before the pandemic. I did the New Year's show downtown, and then they changed bookers. But Bird isn't booking anymore, and the new person's like offered me like a Tuesday or something. Like what?
Yeah, no. Yeah, the last time I was there was also in 2020
Right.
actually. Yeah.
Right.
January 2020. So, but I'm looking forward to Toronto because I'm back from Milwaukee on Sunday and then I go to Toronto on Wednesday.
I can't believe why not stay in Milwaukee a couple extra days with your dad and then fly directly to Toronto? So at least you're halfway across the country already.
Because I don't know if you ever played hacky sack, but I got a touchdown. I gotta come back and just be home for a second. And I know it'll take 2 days and I'll get back on a plane, but but it's better. It's better to just sleep in home for a day or so.
It's true. It's just so hard to travel. I donated to Dave Tribble's fund.
What's his fund? Dave Tribble's sick?
Somebody put up a GoFundMe. He and his wife are Laura. First of all, it's a long-term marriage and comedy. Props. Okay. They are, I don't know who or if both of them have long COVID or the things associated with it, but they're both having a really, really hard time.
Ooh.
And they're trying to sell their place and move to an RV, which is tough. They do have a place to sell, which is good, but they need help, like, fixing it up a little bit so they can sell
Okay.
it and then, downsize.
Hmm.
It's like, it's fucking tough. It's tough
It's super
to get
tough.
old in this country, and
And in comedy.
there's,
Now, I
yeah,
could make Dave Tribble jokes, except for I'm not going to because I never worked for him. But the jokes write
he
themselves.
did a ton of one-nighters.
Yep.
He booked a ton of one-nighters. I loved doing them. They were really hard. There always were tons of driving, but I always felt like a cowgirl. I mean, I remember being on stage in Butte, Montana, and this is like the early 90s, and the audience is like half copper miners. Like, even in the 90s, I'm like, where am I? This is insane. And even like, uh, I just come from a suburb, and so every place I worked was like my white suburb. And then to be in Montana, where it was a mostly white audience, but they weren't, you know,
Suburban.
they weren't suburban. They were like fucking copper miners. I was like, oh, okay. And that was like my first exposure to really, to people that were born and raised completely differently from me, but were still Americans.
Right. I mean, that must have been, yeah. I think about, yeah, I never really thought about how that's how you met other kinds of people, right?
Yeah, on stage,
Yeah.
going,
Yeah.
what is this
Going from
town?
town to town. Yeah.
What do you guys do here? Oh,
Mhm.
okay, that's different from how I was raised in Walnut Creek. Interesting, all right? Tell me what it is. But you get to, it gets like being a politician in a way, where you just travel from, district to district or whatever to meet
Well,
your
and
constituents.
right, and nothing just sort of like breaks your mind from your
Yeah,
childhood
yes,
as much as going to tiny fucking towns anywhere, right?
yeah.
And just going, oh, and people are the same. When I did that weird Melbourne Comedy Festival tour in Australia, they're not even letting people do it anymore because I did all 9 weeks. And now they'll
Wow.
only let them do, like, I think 2 week chunks. And most people only did four and four, or 4 and 5, or something like that.
Yeah.
But I was like, well, I'm in Australia, I'll do the whole thing. And we went to little towns, and and I
How
wasn't,
fun.
it was it was fun. And in
Yeah.
retrospect, it has a glow about it, right?
Yeah.
But in
Right.
the
Right. Right.
moment, it was a grind.
Yeah.
And it was also, I was surrounded by some hard party, it was some hard partying.
Okay.
And it was, some of that was a little tough, right? Just because,
Yeah.
but I bought like, because it was 2005, I think I was still using a card, like a phone card.
Oh yeah. WorldCom. Was it
Yeah,
WorldCom?
it was something I was buying minutes,
Yeah.
and I would call, and it was before we got married, and
Yeah.
and I would call Andy every day, just once a day. I'd call him for like 4 minutes and
Aw.
check in,
Oh my God.
and and but it was mind-boggling to learn to go to sort of these big cities and these small. There was several mining towns, one of which had just a street of whorehouses, and
Oh yeah. Hmm.
you could go to the whorehouse museum in a working whorehouse. And that is the technical term, whorehouse. It was not called the Sex Workers Unlimited. It was not a union gig, but it was legal. And we went to a topless bar after one of the shows, and me
Hmm.
and the tour manager were the only women. And because it was four guys and me, as always.
Yeah.
And but the tour guy, the tour manager was a woman, and we were the only women in the bar that had our tops on, and we kept getting hit on so hard
Oh my
because,
God.
and one of the comics was like, "People love what
Mm-mm-mm.
they can't see, man. People love what they can't see."
Great. I love it. Well, between a small town and a big city, like New York City also blew my mind as well,
Right,
for
I bet.
completely different reasons. Yeah.
I bet.
But I mean, if you're a comic, to do all sorts of, do every gig, just expose yourself to every potential audience member.
Yeah, it'll break your mind and you'll put it back together, hopefully, full of
Mhm.
love or full of jokes.